This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Jay has the night off. Tonight, just a taste of more snow and cold working its way into our region. We hope you are warm, safe, and sound tonight as piles of snow and bitter temperatures bear down in the Big Sky State and across the country. Q2 Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire is following the watches and warnings as they gain momentum. Bob, a lot of snow.
You know, just since 5:30, we picked up a couple inches of snow in downtown Billings. So, yeah, it's coming down. Wow. But let me show you what's happened. We've run another computer run, and now it looks like we're not going to get as much snow as the previous run showed. But let me show you how much we are going to get. Here's what we're going to see by the time tomorrow night gets here, 9:30. It's going to be 2.69 inches for Billings. Other places like Livingston will be 3.8, Bozeman about 4.21, Miles City 1.36. And then later on that night, on Friday night, we're looking at maybe 10 inches for Billings, 13, almost 14 at Livingston, almost 14 at Bozeman. And then if we take this into Saturday, we're still talking 14 inches of snow for Billings, 18, almost 19 inches at Livingston, and about 18 inches at Bozeman. Still over at Missoula, 21 inches of snow expected there. So there's still a lot of snow coming our way. And what happens if you get stuck? Well, maybe not a bad idea to maybe put in a shovel in your car, because that might get you out of some trouble. Jeanelle?
All right, thanks, Bob. Now, if you must hit the highways, please take it slow. At last check, Montana Highway Patrol has responded to more than 24 slide-off crashes, and that's just since 6 o'clock this evening. It also appears icy roads led to a fatal rollover crash east of Livingston today. Authorities report an SUV lost traction on I-90 and rolled. One woman was killed and a man was injured. We're told both victims were wearing seatbelts. Drugs and alcohol are not considered factors. The victim is described only as a Montana resident. Her name not yet released. Now, these temperatures felt all across the country tonight and likely into the new year. Laura Podesta reports from New York's Times Square, where holiday revelers will stand in the freezing cold to watch the ball drop on New Year's Eve.
Residents of Oswego, New York started digging out after 3 feet of snow fell overnight, forcing officials to declare a state of emergency. The snow continued throughout the day Wednesday.
I've not seen this. I've lived here my whole life, and I've not seen it for a couple of years here. So we've really gotten hit this year.
Lake effect snow broke records in Erie, Pennsylvania. 5 feet fell over the past few days. For much of the Northeast and Midwest, snow has given way to the bitter cold. In Minneapolis, single-digit temperatures froze Minnehaha Falls. A bridge in Green Bay became partially stuck because of the cold. And this is what's called pancake ice on the river in Grand Haven, Michigan. Here in New York's Times Square, people are bundled up, but the cold won't keep tourists who traveled for the ball drop from being right here on New Year's Eve. How many layers will you wear to watch the ball drop?
To watch the ball drop, right now I have about 2 pairs of socks, a pair of nylons, a pair of jeans. So the ball drop, I guess, is 2 pairs of pants, 2 pairs of socks, maybe a pair of thermals.
Preparations are underway to make sure the ball drop goes smoothly. Waterford Crystal says the ball is built to withstand extreme weather. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
And the National Weather Service says the wind chills could hit minus 30 degrees in some parts of the Midwest, and the temperature in Maine will remain below freezing for more than 10 days. In other news tonight, Yellowstone County's premier event center claims its most successful year ever. Q2's Dustin Kleeman takes a look back at what made 2017 such a banner year and what's ahead for Metro Park.
2017 marked the best year in history for the Rimrock Auto Arena at Metro Park, with more than 100,000 tickets sold. In 42 years, the building never topped 80,000.
What people don't realize, though, about Metro Park is there's very little of that total revenue that comes in from tickets actually ends up at Metro Park. We reinvest almost everything that comes in making the experience better for our fans, our guests who come to watch events here. So being able to do even bigger shows as we go forward are the kind of things we want to do.
Those type of big show ideas produced country icon Garth Brooks hitting the stage 5 times in 3 nights.
I'm going to make this city a promise. If we ever tour again, I would love to come back.
And worldwide rock band Foo Fighters performing for 3 hours. Now, Bob Seger and Rod Stewart are on deck. But it goes beyond the music. Metra has beefed up security to events inside the arena with 12 walk-through metal detectors and further discussion with law enforcement on how to ensure safety for guests.
It is one network that's going to really work together to make it safe for everybody. It doesn't matter what the event is or the size of event, we're all in the same game together. And I think that's what you're going to see moving forward, a lot more of that, which should make everybody feel good.
The facility clocked about 820,000 visits, which is another all-time record. With 2018 on the horizon, a number of new shows in the works, and possible opportunities ahead, there remains areas of improvement.
The building is 42 years old at this point in time, so some remodeling of things could be really useful. The locker rooms, those areas are really 1970s based models. But by and large, we have stuff that is pretty good. We just like to move to a higher class of quality of what we do.
In Billings, I'm Dustin Kleeman, MTN News.
And Dustin tells us Metro officials are keeping their eyes on the One Big Sky project development in downtown Billings and how it could impact the future. Well, as we edge closer to the start of the year this week, we take a look at some of the biggest local stories that shaped 2017. Coming in at number 5, the changing faces of Billings. Q2's Samantha Harrelson takes us back.
If 2017 was a year of change, 2018 is a year of new beginnings as Billings looks to replace the leaders who shape our city. In September, Billings' longest tenured city administrator retired, leaving a big gap in city government that has yet to be filled. Tina Volek left the position after 13 years, and the search for someone to take her place was on. The Billings City Council unanimously voted to hire Greg Doyen, the current city administrator in Great Falls. But after contract disputes, Doyen declined the position, saying the council's inability to negotiate and meet in the middle showed instability and a lack of support.
You know, it just happens to be that the council had a different opinion about salaries than he did, and that's the way it goes sometimes.
Now the newly elected council is back at square one. They will decide on their next steps in January. Another longtime leader announced retirement in September. School District 2 Superintendent Terry Bauk will leave his position at the end of the school year after 6 years on the job. The school board says finding someone to fill his shoes will be difficult. They began their search through a contracted search team earlier this month and hope to have a replacement selected by April. Finally, one of the biggest changes to the face of Billings, a new mayor. After 8 years of service, Tom Hannell will be replaced by Bill Cole. Cole beat Republican state legislator Jeff Essman back in November, earning over 60% of the votes. Cole, an attorney and the former chairman of the Billings Chamber of Commerce Board, will be sworn in January, along with 3 new council members.
I want them to know that their voice will be heard. The way that we can make progress in the city is if we all row, or as many as possible, row in the same direction.
Beyond the task of finding a city administrator, Cole hopes to help Billings grow and increase the city's ability to attract and retain young workers and families. Samantha Harrelson, MTN News.
Thanks, Samantha. And Sammy reminds us the Billings Fire Department still has yet to formally name a fire chief after Paul Dextrous retired in July. And next week, the Downtown Billings Alliance will announce its new executive director. Still to come on tonight's 10 o'clock news, with a new year and new tax reform, what can you expect? We'll have the latest in tonight's Money Watch. Plus, we saw a new president, a new Supreme Court justice, and more. We take a look back at the political headlines of 2017. And in sports, it's number 7 on your countdown, the story of a special cowboy who won't let anything stop him from pursuing his dream.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire and sports with Scott Green.